Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Caitlin from Florals.com, and today I'm bringing you another part of my vacation travel memory documenting series that doesn't have a name yet. So if you guys have any ideas for the title of this video series, I'd be happy to hear them because I have absolutely nothing. But for today, I'm showing you a way that I often incorporate memorabilia into my albums. If you've been following along on my blog, I shared my title page for this album over there, so I'll have a link to my blog for this post down below, as well as just my regular blog page, so you can check that out. So today I'll be incorporating a receipt into one of my pages, but this is actually a double page process video for you all. It's for my 6x8 album of our Pittsburgh trip that we took, and actually I'm using a 4x6 insert with 2x2 squares, which is really fun. I've never used anything this small. I mean, I've used 4x4 before, but like that's just for a photo, so it's like completely different in my mind. But I'm going to decorate all of these pieces. I'm sorry it's still zoomed out. I eventually zoom in so you guys can see what I'm working on better. But I'm currently covering a chipboard tag with some DCWV cardstock from their Jewel collection. And I used a lot of My Mind's Eye paper as well on this layout, on both layouts actually, as you'll see. I'm using this side and then the back side of this page to document the beginning parts of our trip. So this side is for when we drove down. I took lots of pictures of the signs. Like the top one says last exit in New York, and then the second one on the right says welcome to Pennsylvania. And then the one on the left says 70 miles per hour. And I don't think I've ever seen a 70 mile per hour sign before in New York, given I don't drive much, in case you're wondering. I really don't. But so here is what I am working on. The main problem for this layout for me personally was that I didn't know where to put each card, like the filler cards at least. I wasn't sure where I wanted them. It just kept boggling my mind on where to put them, because they didn't really, since everything was square, none of them really stood out or anything. But I'm going to grab some twine for this, and all of the stickers I believe I use on this layout are from Heidi Swap, the travel sticker booklet that I've used before. If you guys watched my videos before, you've seen it a lot, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to finish it on this album, because I have a lot of more photos to document, and I have a lot more stickers to use. And I really like how they're travel themed, but not super travel themed. So I'm going back to that sticker booklet looking for some other things to add. I get this Enjoy the Journey sticker, and I trim that down. And then I use my little paper punch from, I believe it's from Hobby Lobby. Yes, Hobby Lobby is where I got it. I'll use that later on my the same card. So here, that little paper punch, I punch a little heart, and I'm going to glue that down actually right there with my fine line adhesive. So I have this green card to the left, and that one's going to stay there, but the one on the bottom with the tag is not going to stay there. I'm going to put that at the top actually, and then do journaling on the bottom. I'm also using this paper punch, which I use on the back side, actually not this side. I thought I was going to use it on this side, but I end up doing some mixed media stuff on this side, which you'll see in a little bit. I decided that this green cardstock is just a little too boring, actually, which is surprising because I usually do very simple layouts, as you all know. But I really thought the green was just boring, so I wanted to dress it up a little bit. So I go through all of my stencils and pull out this one, which is the Echo Park 6x6, and it's the Adventure stencil, and I'll have links to all of these items over on my blog if they're still available. So I use my Liquitex modeling paste mixed with some, I would call it a mustard yellow. I almost went with a blue color, but I decided the mustard yellow will work much better because it matches the tag I just covered with paper, and then I ended up dumping way too much paint. And then I scoop out just a little bit of modeling paste so it all works. And of course I need my Ranger mat so I don't get all of this stuff everywhere without being able to clean it up super easy. It's one of my favorite Christmas gifts I've gotten I got this year, was this craft mat. I'd really been wanting one, and I almost bought myself one, but I was like, nope, I'll wait, and then I got one for Christmas. So I just did some stenciling, and I'm going to clean it up. I used up all of well, not all of the extra, but some of the extra modeling paste and paint on another scrap of green cardstock, but with a different stencil this time. I end up using my actually my polka dot stencil by Heidi Swap. So I'm going to clean up this. This was like so hard to pick up without getting it everywhere, and I still got it everywhere, but that's besides the point. I'm really loving this Ranger mat. It makes things so much easier to clean up. I cannot express it to you enough. Or maybe I won't do the extra mixed media yet. At first I thought I was going to actually get rid of the adventure piece altogether and do a sequin pocket, but I ended up not doing that at all. But I do cut another piece of DCWV, or no, actually I do paper studio cardstock this time because I had a scrap that was the right color, in this very mulberry color, as I'd call it, or raspberry even. And this will end up being my journaling spot. I'll use a sticker later to create that. But first I'm going to look through my tiny word stickers apparently. I'm really not sure what I wanted to do with this at first, but I do end up using the label sticker and creating a journaling spot, and it's the perfect size. And I wanted to use another little thing to create some more detail, so I grabbed my sassafras flowers. Rest in peace, sassafras, we miss you so much. But I end up using one of these really old flowers and some enamel dots. I use yellow freckled fawn enamel dots and then some green paper studio enamel dots. So I'm going to glue this sassafras flower down. It's got a nice button accent and has some dimension. And again, that label sticker is from October Afternoon. So I'm going to make a little sequin pocket that I don't end up using, but hope to use in the future part of this album. So I'm just going to washi tape that shut. And then I'm going to see how it looks with the heart on top of it. And I really don't like the colors that are in the sequin mix that I had at home. So I end up tossing that idea again and just going back to the stenciled piece. So that's the end of this side of the page protector here. And my modeling paste still needs to dry, so I'm going to put that off to the side to dry. I'm going to put all the other ones in here. And then I'm going to start the other side. So for incorporating memorabilia, a few tips. Like this receipt here, I'm going to cut down to 2 by 2. But say you wanted to keep the whole receipt, you could just fold it down to 2 by 2. Or just cut off the extra pieces and then fold it down to 2 by 2. Or you could, anything of those sorts. I find receipts are often I find that a lot of people actually don't keep receipts because they do end up usually fading, or ticket stubs along the same lines, they do end up fading, but I really don't think it matters because it takes quite a few years for it to fade, and since you'll be looking back on this probably several times before that fading will occur, I think it's just a nice thing to include. I'm adding other things that won't fade onto this receipt, so maybe that will keep the memory of it still going, if you know what I mean. I end up using some of these Sweet Stamp Shop little Ram emotion stamps. I did one that's like all happy and then one that's surprised, because that's how we felt about IKEA, because this was our first IKEA trip. So these little Sweet Stamp Shop Rams are adorable because I like all the emotions, and these are really fun to use on project life or travel albums. Like when we first went to IKEA, like I said, it was like a whole new world. Like that's the only way I can describe it. So I'm going to color those in later. I pulled out this freckled fawn flare that I'll be using later as well. But now I'm going to use an L Studio label piece from the Let's Eat label collection. And I'm going to cut that down later, but that's the one I'm using. And then I have my 2 little rams. So I'm going to color those in and put them up there, I believe. I do mess around with it a little bit. So this receipt says, is talking about the IKEA family, like that rewards card you can get from, or the savings card you can get for IKEA. And we signed up for that when we went. And IKEA is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So I'm coloring in these little rams with gray and then another like peach color for their faces, just to give them a little more dimension on the white background. And then you can see the the one picture that I cut in half here is just the IKEA picture. The rest will be filler cards, which I don't really mind. I don't usually do photo heavy layouts. I like it to be really balanced. This one wouldn't be very balanced, but it's close enough at least. So I'm just going to glue these guys down. So there's one surprise face and one really happy face. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that yet, but it ends up going in the top right corner. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a filler card with that sticker later. I end up selecting this polka dot paper though. I'm going to cut it down to 2 by 2 because that's what all of my squares are. And then I'm going to also use this pattern paper for my flare badge there because IKEA is #1 in my book now. I wish that the closest one wasn't so far away, but that's okay. We don't have any where I'm from, but that's okay. So I'm looking through all of my stickers, all these things. So that's the way that filler card will end up looking. I just haven't glued it together yet. And then I have 2 more filler cards to complete. One will be a journaling card, and the other one will just be another sticker card, which you'll see. So that's the punch out I did earlier, and I'm going to glue down the flare badge. One thing I have to say about these Simple Stories page protectors is they don't give you a lot of room. I tend to do a lot of dimension on my pocket pages, and this was not the best choice to do flares on. I know that their larger sizes, like their 3x4 cards, have a lot of room on the outside. It's really weird, but their smaller ones have no extra room whatsoever, I feel like. So I end up putting these washi tapes down, and I end up not liking them at all, but I do end up covering them up. This is not my favorite card. I use this old Chamel piece that says Embrace Life. It's okay. I've been wanting to use it for a while, so I just kind of stuck it down. And I'm not happy with that card, but it does its purpose as a journaling card. You'll see me move it and then move it back. And so I end up gluing it down further to cover up the floral washi that I put on initially. So that's all settled now. So that's where that will go. And then I'm going to cut this polka dot paper from My Mind's Eye, again down to 2 by 2, and use this Heidi Swap sticker that says, I have no idea. I don't remember what it says. You can see in the photos of my blog what it says. Actually, I'll do some close-up shots at the end here. But we are almost done. I'm just going to put everything into its pockets and then do some little doodle borders along some of the edges, which you'll see later in the up-close photos. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more memorabilia uses, I will have more of these up throughout the year. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!